Hi, this is Mick Moss from Antimatter, and over the next 60 minutes I'm going to attempt to put on my best English accent and speak as slowly and concisely as possible in this commentary track for the album The Judas Table. You know, I wondered why people don't ever do commentary tracks for albums. They seem to work for DVDs. So I think we'll find out the answer to that question soon enough. So we begin with Black Eyed Man, which is a song about people who lie constantly to your face. And because you never ever acknowledge to them that you're fully aware what they're doing, they think they're getting away with it, so they just continue to lie and lie. Do you know anyone like that in your life? Because if you do, and they think they can get away with that, what else do they think they can get away with? Be careful. This was actually the first song off the album that I produced a demo for. I started work in January 2015. Finished work a few days ago in late July, which means that I've pretty much been working solidly for 7 months on this album. Without much of a break, so 7 months of my life has just completely disappeared. And as David Crosby said, as you get older and older, the real currency becomes time. So I've certainly spent quite a bit of my currency on the creation of this album. But it was worth it, and of course we have to do something with our time. And if I wasn't doing this, what would I be doing? Watching soap operas? Drinking myself to death? Fishing? Guest vocals there from Jenny O'Connor, who previously worked with me on the Sleeping Pulse album. And she also sung on my Lights Out demos in 2002. Writing the female harmonies that Hayley Windsor later took on for the album. And this section of lyrics is dealing with what I was talking about earlier. If someone who habitually lies has no indication from the outside world that the inside is out, then they will just continue to lie. So on we play. Here we go, into our psychedelic bullshit section. When I decided to make this album, I promised myself I would try and make it a lot more simpler and try not and go off on tangents like I did on the previous album, Fear of Unique Identity. And here we go on the first song. I'm going straight off on a tangent. I just couldn't help myself. It's that progressive tendency I've got growing up with albums from Yes and Genesis. Although in Antimatter there are many, many influences from different genres. I kind of just pool everything together, everything that I've heard, and it just comes back out. Really fantastic lead guitar from Kevin Dunn there. I met him quite late in the process of making this album, and he came in like Superman in the 11th hour, played some fantastic guitar leads, and I kind of took my favourite parts out of each one and comped them all together to create a super duper guitar lead. I'll certainly be working with Kevin again in the future. So the Judas Table chronologically comes after Fear of Unique Identity, but for me conceptually it's not the successor to Fear of Unique Identity quite, as both Fear and Judas both existed in my head at the same time after leaving Eden. So for me, both albums or the successor to Leaving Eden. Although Judas does borrow from some aspects of Fear, naturally. So there's a kind of dichotomy there, in that it's simultaneously the successor to Eden and Fear. I think I know what I'm talking about, if you don't. Black Eyed Man is an old song, I would say probably about 10 years old. And for me it's a relief to finally record it. When you're a writer and you're putting out a new album or putting together a new album, it's a new album to everybody else, but it's not a new album to you, because you're drawing from your archives, which began the day you wrote your first song, which was for me 20 years ago. So there are actually a few songs on this album which are very, very old. But not this next song, which is relatively new.